Hello everyone, I'm just doing a little sound test. If you can hear me, just let me know. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can all see me. Hopefully you can all hear me. What I'll say, first of all, before we get started, is that there's a 10-second delay between me recording and you hearing me. So if you type comments to me, I will try and read them in about 10 seconds time, okay? So, first of all, welcome. Hello. Hello to all of you FrightFesters. Hello to all of you Evolution of Horror listeners. I'm so glad so many of you are here already. Welcome to the opening night of the virtual FrightFest. I'm very excited. I don't know whether you guys are here to actually watch all of the films at FrightFest or whether you're just dropping in for the quiz, but welcome everybody. For those of you who haven't done one of our pub quizzes before, the way it's going to work is we try and keep it as similar to a pub quiz as possible. So I'll be your quiz master and I will be asking you questions. There's 6 rounds of questions, okay? All you guys need to do is write down your answers and we will go through each round and mark them at the end and tally up your score, okay? So it's nothing too complicated. If you want to interact in the comments, please do. I've got the wonderful Rihanna, my assistant, and just favourite human being in the world right here, who is going to be helping me sort of behind the scenes. So, so we can sort of keep in contact and chat to you throughout the evening as well. And the other thing I will say, this quiz, it's just for fun. You're not going to win any prizes if you do come first, except for a sense of pride, of course. So what I always say at the beginning of all the quizzes is, if you really wanted to, you could probably Google the answers and get them right. But what's the point? You're only cheating yourself, right? So don't do that. So if everybody's ready... Oh, well, actually, another thing I want to do is just see if there are any interesting quiz team names, because I saw quite a few coming through, actually, just a minute ago. And I jotted a few down, but there may be some better ones than this. What have we got here? I mean, this is great. Team Punhead, I love. The Heathers. Co-Video Nasties, very good. Very strong. Rodents of Unusual Size. That sounds quite frightening. Team Brian Hull's Beard, lovely. Quiz Teamer Aguilera, a classic, love it. Please do send through your team names. Obviously, you can play as a team or you can play individually if you like, whatever suits you. But even if you're playing on your own, you can still have a quiz team name. So please keep sending them through. We're going to keep a note of the best ones throughout the evening. Okay, well, let's do it, shall we? Let's kick things off. We're going to sort out round 1 first of all. Oh, and one more quick disclaimer. Obviously, all of this is being streamed from my home, from my Wi-Fi. Sometimes things can go wrong. Sometimes the internet connection can go down. Sometimes everything could crash. All I'll say is, if that happens, please don't go anywhere, okay? Just sit tight. I will refresh the page and start a new stream. So you hopefully only have to wait about 5 minutes. So if everything crashes and goes down, we will be back, okay? So please don't go anywhere if that happens. Just bear with us. So, here we go then. Round 1, pens and papers at the ready. Just to warm us up, this is just going to be a bit of general horror knowledge, okay? So just a bit of general horror knowledge. These should be, in theory, these questions should be, in theory, quite easy, okay? So, they just sort of warm you up, get you in the spirit of things, okay? So, here we go. Question 1. A nice easy one to start us off. Which movie franchise focuses on the horrors that are unleashed when characters mess with the lament configuration? Which movie franchise focuses on the horrors that are unleashed when characters mess with the lament configuration? Also, just a quick reminder, do not put answers in the comments. We will delete them, but do not put answers in the comments. You're writing them down and marking yourselves at the end. Okay, question number 2. We've actually got a little guest asking question number 2. So my sort of podcasting partner in crime, somebody who hosts a hell of a lot of podcast episodes with me, friend of the pod, Louise Blaine, is going to bring you question 2.
Hello Mike, hello FrightFest. My question is this. What is written on this tiny paper boat? That's my question. What is written on Pennywise's tiny paper boat?
There we go. So, thank you very much, Louise. So, that question simply is, in Stephen King's It, what is written on the side of that paper boat? What is written on the side of that paper boat? Quick reminder, quick plug that Louise and I will be bringing you FrightFest coverage all weekend. We'll be reviewing all of the films together over the next few days right here on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out. Subscribe. Okay, question number 3. Which legendary horror filmmaker, who sadly we lost earlier this year, directed Dolls, From Beyond and Castle Freak? Which legendary horror filmmaker directed Dolls, From Beyond and Castle Freak? Okay, for question number 4, I'm going to give this question to another very special guest. He's an absolute FrightFest regular, but he is also an actor, writer, filmmaker, one of the writers and directors of the fantastic horror film Ghost Stories. It's Andy Nyman.
Hi FrightFesters. How I wish we were all squashed together in some hot stinking little room before we spent 4 days together in a hot stinking cinema. But hey, can't have everything. So you're there for the quiz. Here's my question. My first ever TV job was in The Woman in Black, which has just been re-released. Now, Jane Goldman wrote the script for the film, but who adapted Susan Hill's novel and wrote the script for the TV one that I'm in? So, who adapted Susan Hill's The Woman in Black for the ITV version?
There you go. I love him. I love him so much. There is Andy Nyman, and his question was, who wrote the 1989 version of The Woman in Black? Okay, so obviously it's based on the novel by Susan Hill, but who wrote the screenplay? Who adapted it for television in that brilliant 1989 version? It's actually much scarier than the Daniel Radcliffe version. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, I believe it's now been released on some lovely Blu-ray. It's worth checking out. So there you go. That was question number 4. Question number 5. Which of these films has the biggest body count? Halloween, 1978. Friday the 13th, 1980. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. So there you go. Which of those 3 classic slasher movies has the biggest kill count, the biggest body count, in terms of on-screen kills? Okay. Halloween, Friday the 13th, or A Nightmare on Elm Street? Okay, question number 6. We've got some more very exciting guests. 2 of my very favourite people. They're always involved in FrightFest. They're going to be here throughout the weekend. Filmmakers, writers, just general legends. James Moran and Kat Davis.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, I'm James Moran.
And I'm Kat Davis.
2 years ago, we made the opening ident for FrightFest. It was called Suspiria, and it was a loving tribute to the master of horror Dario Argento and his classic Suspiria.
Now, that film, Suspiria, was the first film in Argento's Three Mothers trilogy.
But can you name the other 2 films in the trilogy?
Can you?
Can you?
Can you?
Can you?
Thank you. I love those 2 so much. Thank you so much to Kat and James there. So that was name the other 2 movies in Argento's Three Mothers trilogy. The first one is Suspiria, but what are the second 2 called? Okay, so we need both movies, half a point for each. You need both movie titles for the full point. Okay. All right, question number 7. Which Canadian horror film had the tagline, "If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight"? Which Canadian horror film had the tagline, "If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight"? Okay, question number 8. Which 90s horror film boasts cameos and appearances and performances from several horror legends, including Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, Tony Todd, Joseph Pilato, and Ted Raimi. Okay, which single film made in the 90s boasts appearances from all of those horror legends? Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, Tony Todd, Joseph Pilato, and Ted Raimi. I love that the Horror Channel are here. Hi, Horror Channel. Could you put this on TV? Could you put it on the Horror Channel? That would be quite handy.
Yeah, shoot your shot, Mike.
Yeah, it's worth asking, isn't it? Okay, question number 9. Which horror movie protagonist has been played by William Peterson, Edward Norton, and Hugh Dancy? Dancy? Which horror protagonist has been played by William Peterson, Ed Norton, and Hugh Dancy? Okay, so we need the character name. Dancy. Sounded very posh when I said Dancy. Dancy. Okay. Last but not least then, the final question is coming to you from another very special guest. He's been literally everywhere, it feels like, over the internet over the last couple of weeks. The director of one of the most talked about, one of the scariest films of the year, Host. It's Rob Savage.
Hey Mike and everyone at FrightFest. So, as you might know, my movie Host was inspired by the 1992 masterpiece Ghostwatch. Now, who can tell me the name of the supernatural entity haunting the family in Ghostwatch?
There we go. Amazing. I love that even his question managed to have a jump scare in it. And actually, Rihanna, who's watching it, actually just jumped. I saw that. Love it. Love it. So, what was the name of the ghost in Ghostwatch? What was the name of that terrifying entity in Ghostwatch? And that is your 10 questions. I'm going to very quickly run through them all again from 1 to 10, okay? Question number 1. Which movie franchise focuses on the horrors that are unleashed when characters mess with the lament configuration? Question number 2 from Louise was, what is written on the paper boat in It? Question number 3, which filmmaker directed Dolls from Beyond and Castle Freak? Question 4, the question from Andy Nyman was, who wrote the TV adaptation of The Woman in Black? Question 5, which of these films has the bigger body count? Halloween, Friday the 13th, or A Nightmare on Elm Street? Question number 6, Suspiria is the first part of Argento's Three Mothers trilogy. Name the other 2. Question number 7, which Canadian horror film had the tagline, if this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight? Question number 8, which 90s horror film boasts appearances from Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, Tony Todd, Joseph Pilato, and Ted Raimi? Question number 9, which horror protagonist has been played by William Peterson, Ed Norton, and Hugh Dancy? And question number 10, what's the name of that terrifying ghost in Ghostwatch? How's everybody feeling about this? We're going to go through the answers in just a second, and you can mark yourselves. Is there anyone out there who thinks that they've got 10 out of 10? So I can see a couple of people here. Hayden Watkins says he reckons 7 out of 10, not bad. Emma Steventon says she thinks 7 out of 10. Stuart Spark says he thinks they've got 6. Not bad, not bad. Hi Zombie Kitty says she thinks she has 2. Oh, I was worried that this round was too easy, but I quite like that it's challenging some of you. That's good. Dean Gray says maybe 8. Alex Secker says reckons he's got an 8. Annika Cullen says 2 out of 10. Annika. Interesting. David Williams, 8 out of 10. Nobody's saying that they're confident they got 10 out of 10, but maybe you all just don't want to. You don't want to say it in advance. So we're going to go through the answers then. So we're going to do answers round by round. So get ready to mark yourself 1 point per question. So it's going to be out of 10, obviously. Question number 1, which movie franchise focuses on the lament configuration? It is, of course, Hellraiser. The Hellraiser franchise, a movie that Jamie Graham and I will be discussing on the Evolution of Pod. Got my own podcast name wrong. The Evolution of Horror podcast next week. We'll be discussing it on the podcast next week. Question number 2, what is written on the side of the paper boat in It? It's the SS Georgie. The SS Georgie. Poor Georgie. Question number 3, which filmmaker directed Dolls from Beyond and Castle Freak? It is, of course, the late, great Stuart Gordon. The incredible Stuart Gordon. Question number 4. Who wrote the Andy Nyman version of The Woman in Black? It was Nigel Neal. Nigel Neal, legendary television writer Nigel Neal. Question number 5. Which of those 3 movies has the biggest body count? It's Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. By quite a long way, actually. I think A Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween have about 4 each. And Friday the 13th has about 10. So, yeah, by quite a large margin. Question number 6. The question asked to you by Kat and James. What are the name of the other 2 films in Argento's Mother trilogy? It's Inferno and Mother of Tears. Inferno and Mother of Tears. Okay, you need both answers to get the full point. You can have half a point for each. Okay, question number 7. Which Canadian horror film had the tagline, "If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight"? It's Black Christmas. Black Christmas. You'd kind of think it was some sort of body horror, wouldn't you, by that tagline? But it's Black Christmas. Question number 8. Which horror film has all of those amazing actors in it? It's Wishmaster. Wishmaster. If only the film was as good as that cast. Sadly, it's not. But it's Wishmaster. Okay, number 9. Who was played by William Peterson, Ed Norton, and Hugh Dancy? It's Will Graham. That's Will Graham from the Hannibal, series. All of these are versions of Red Dragon. So Manhunter with William Peterson, Red Dragon with Ed Norton, and then Hannibal, the TV show, with Hugh Dancy. And last but not least, the question asked to you by the brilliant Rob Savage. What's the name of the ghost in Ghostwatch? It's Pipes. Terrifying Pipes. How did everybody do? Who got 10 out of 10? Did anybody get 10 out of 10? Send me your scores before we move on to round 2. Let's see how people did. People are getting cross with me for dissing Wishmaster. Sorry about that. Oh, Jed Shepherd's here, writer of Host. Hello. This is exciting. So what have we got here? James Moran, 9 out of 10. I mean, James, you knew one of those answers, so you should subtract a point, technically. Josh Tonks, Joe Season Knob, 7 out of 10. 4.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I'm just trying to scan to see if anybody got 10. Not that I can see. I'm sure somebody out there probably got 10. There's bound to be some smart ass. But overall, some good scores there. Some good scores. All right, let's move on to round 2. Round 2 is going to be posters. Movie posters, okay? So, in this round, you are going to see 10 posters that have been obscured in some way. They're going to be really, really, really close up, okay? So you're going to see a little bit of a classic horror movie poster. You just need to name the film, okay? You need to name the film. And to give you a little clue, maybe, in true evolution of horror style, these posters are going to go in chronological order, 1 per decade, okay? So question 1 is going to be a horror film from the 1920s. Question 2 is going to be from the 1930s, so on, all the way to question 10, which will be from the 2010s, okay? So if you have no idea, maybe you could try and take a guess of a horror film that came out that decade. That narrows it down. So let's do this. Okay, let me just check that this technology is going to work. Here we go. Round 2, movie posters. Let's see. Here comes question number 1. There is poster number 1. Just name the film. Here comes poster number 2.
I know.
You know that one. Poster number 3. Here it comes. Creepy. Creepy shit. And here comes question number 4. We're up to the 1950s now. This is 1950s. Here comes poster number 5. And here comes poster number 6. And here comes number 7. Oh, Marios says easy. Okay, I'm expecting 10 out of 10, Marios. And here comes poster number 8. Such a 90s poster that is, isn't it? 90s horror poster. And here comes poster number 9. We're into the 2000s now. And last but not least, poster number 10. Okay, I'm going to whiz through them all one more time for you. So, there's number 1. You just need to name the film titles. There's number 1. And here's number 2. And here's number 3. And here comes number 4. And here comes number 5. And here comes number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. And number 10. There we go. How did everyone think they did in that one before we go through the answers? Mario says he thinks he got 7.5. 7.5, interesting. I don't know how we do the half points for that one. Shockaholic says 5 and 7 have me stumped. Yeah, those ones are tricky. Alex Secker says 5 is pissing me off because I know it. Yeah, they probably all will be ones you know quite well when they're revealed. So, we're going to reveal the answers now, as soon as I can find them. Here we go. So, get ready to mark yourselves. This will be out of 10, of course, 1 point per poster. So, number 1 was Nosferatu. Number 1 was, of course, Nosferatu. Look at that poster. I love that poster. Question number 2. This one, it was a classic 1930s Universal horror movie. It was, of course, The Mummy. The Mummy. Karloff the Uncanny in The Mummy. Number 3, a great little British anthology horror from the 40s. It's Dead of Night. Dead of Night. You can see that creepy puppet there. Dead of Night. And number 4, one of my favourites, this is House on Haunted Hill with the brilliant Vincent Price. House on Haunted Hill. These posters are amazing, aren't they? I think they do gradually get worse as we go towards the 90s. And then they start getting a bit better again. Number 5. Number 5 is a British Hammer horror classic. It is Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Dracula, Prince of Darkness. And number 6. This one, fairly easy. Hopefully most of you got this one. It's Alien. Ridley Scott's Alien. And number 7. Do you recognise that eye? You should do. It is, of course, Chucky's eye in Child's Play. Child's Play. And question number 8. A 90s teen slasher classic. That is the face of Alicia Witt you can see there in Urban Legend. One of the greatest films ever made, and I won't have a word said against it. Urban Legend. Question number 9. I thought this one was quite tricky. This is Neil Marshall's The Descent. The Descent. Another great poster there, and a great film. And last but not least, question number 10. Creepy upside down house is, of course, Hereditary. Hereditary. So, there we go. How did everybody do in that round? Did anybody out there manage to get 10 out of 10? Did anybody get 10 out of 10 for those posters? Oh, Paul Wart's got 9 out of 10. Emily Tabbett, 9 out of 10. Oh, you guys smashed this round. Curtis got 8 out of 10. Chocoholic, 7 out of 10. Oh, you got loads of... Brad Hanson got 10 out of 10.
Neil Brown got 10.
Yeah, amazing. Who? Neil Brown. Neil Brown got 10. Oh my god, I can't read these now. Somebody got 10 out of 10. Nick Oliver, 10 out of 10. Amazing. You guys smashed that round. So that's good. That's good. In my head, these rounds get progressively harder, but clearly they don't, because I think that one was easier than the previous. So, there we go. That was round 3. Let's move on to round... No, that was round 2. Let's move on to round 3. Okay, round 3 is... It's a FrightFest round. Okay, so this is 10 questions that are all going to be in some way connected to FrightFest, okay? But they're not just going to be about the festival itself. You don't have to know all about FrightFest to get these right. It's going to be general horror movie trivia, but linked in some way to FrightFest, okay? I want to thank in advance, friend of the pod, the wonderful Brad Hanson, who actually wrote most of these questions for me. Brad, thank you very much. This also means, Brad, that you can't actually take part in this round and give yourself 10 out of 10 and then brag about it, okay? So just sit this one out. Okay, so this is going to be out of 10. Pens and papers at the ready. Here we go. Question number 1. The first ever FrightFest was held in 2000 at the Prince Charles Cinema. One of the films that screened that weekend was Japanese horror Audition, directed by Takashi Miike. But what other Takashi Miike film, a couple of years later, a musical horror, screened at FrightFest in 2002? So basically the question is, what musical horror film that came out in 2002 did Takashi Miike direct? These ones are slightly trickier than the previous couple of rounds. Okay, question number 2. Wolf Creek closed the festival in FrightFest 2005. But what is the name of John Jarratt's terrifying character in that film? The psychopath with a smile, the killer in Wolf Creek. We need his, ideally, full name. But I'll maybe accept it if you just give me his first name. So, Wolf Creek closed the festival at FrightFest 2005. What is the name of John Jarratt's character in that film? The psychopath with a smile. Okay, now for question number 3, we have got, of course, a special guest to ask us a question here for this particular round. It would be wrong not to include the amazing Paul McAvoy.
Hello everybody, hope you're all okay. Hope you're having fun and looking forward to the weekend that we've got in store for you at FrightFest. And a big thank you to Mike Munster. Sorry, my hair's going crazy, but big thank you to Mike Munster and the whole crew of Evolution of Horror, one of the best podcast websites around. Love them, love them, love them. Mike's asked me to ask you guys a couple of questions, FrightFest related, of course. So good luck. Here they are. Number 1, in 2009, we moved to the massive screen of the Empire, Leicester Square. Mr. John Landis was the guest of honour that year. I hope you remember him, talking very loudly during a lot of the films and being generally brilliant. In what 1992 Stephen King adaptation does he cameo as a lab technician?
Thank you very much. Lovely, lovely Paul McAvoy. So his question was, blah, 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 John Landis came to FrightFest. But what 1992 Stephen King adaptation does John Landis cameo as a lab technician? Tricky. If these questions are difficult, blame Brad Hanson. So in which 1992 Stephen King adaptation did John Landis cameo as a lab technician? Okay. Question number 4. FrightFest's 2012 recipient of the Total Film Total Icon Award was the maestro of Giallo, Dario Argento. It's been 8 years since we last saw a film from Dario. In 2012, he bestowed upon us Dracula 3D. But who played Van Helsing in Dario's adaptation? So who played Van Helsing in Dario Argento's Dracula 3D? Niels Harpeth said this is a brutal round. I agree. Actually, to quote Brad Hanson, this is the cunty round. That's what he called it. I hired him to write the cunty questions. Question number 5. This is a good one. Question number 5. At FrightFest 2013, a moment of infamy was born. A couple were ejected from the cinema for performing sex acts during a film. Brilliant. The film starred Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Bacon, among some other A-list actors. What was the film? What was the film that got these two so hot and bothered that they couldn't keep it in their pants? So we need a 2013 film, or at least a film that played at FrightFest 2013, starring Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Bacon. I need to know more about this. What were they doing? What sexual act was it? Were they having full-blown sex? Were they doing other stuff? Does anyone know? Did anyone see? I have so many questions. Okay, question number 6. In 2014, FrightFest moved to the View Leicester Square and they screened Eli Roth's Green Inferno. What a terrible film. Of what film is The Green Inferno a spiritual sequel / remake? Of what film is The Green Inferno a spiritual sequel / remake? A kind of homage to it, really, isn't it? Oh, okay, it was just wanking. It was hand jobs that the couple were doing during that film. Interesting. Okay. Question number 7. This is a long question, Brad. Brace yourself. FrightFest 2003 boasted some huge entries from some now renowned horror and genre filmmakers, such as Eli Roth's Cabin Fever, Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, and Nicholas Winding Refn's foray into horror with Fear X. But which infamous director first dipped their toes into the consistent world of shit video game adaptations with a film that currently has a score of 3% on Rotten Tomatoes and 2 out of 10 on IMDb? So basically what we need there is the name of a filmmaker, an infamous filmmaker who also had a film out that year, an equally infamous film. Somebody's just said my internet cut out and came back, just to Mike saying it was mostly wanking. Sorry. So name the filmmaker that had a really, really shit film that premiered in 2003, basically. Question number 8. In 2016, for 1 year only, FrightFest relocated to the View Cinema in deepest, darkest Shepherd's Bush. The excellent Train to Busan closed the festival that year. But what's the name of this year's Train to Busan sequel? What is the name of this year's Train to Busan sequel? Okay, for question number 9, just because I love him so much, we're going to go back over to Paul McAvoy, because why not?
Hello, everybody, again. It's me. The second question that Mike Munzer from Evolution of Horrors asked me to ask you guys is, in 2017, we relocated FrightFest back to its spiritual homes, Cineworld, Leicester Square, and the Prince Charles. Cult of Chucky opened that festival, directed by the amazing Don Mancini. But how many Chucky films in total has Mr. Mancini directed? That's how many Chucky films has Don Mancini, the lovely Don Mancini, directed.
There we go. So that question was blah, 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 Empire Leicester Square. Cult of Chucky opened the festival, directed by Don Mancini. But how many Chucky films in total has Mancini directed? Okay, so obviously Don Mancini, the creator of Chucky, but how many Chucky films has he himself directed? Okay, and last but not least, and then this really tricky round is over. Question number 10. Last year's 2019 FrightFest premiered the amazing Ready or Not as the Sunday night film. But what upcoming horror sequel are Ready or Not directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett now on board to direct? So, what upcoming horror sequel is going to be directed by the Ready or Not directors? I'm very excited for this film. And there we go. Let me know if you think you got 10 out of 10 for that round, and I'm going to whiz through those questions again one more time. So, the first ever FrightFest was held in 2000. One of the films was Japanese Horror Audition, of course, directed by Takashi Miike. But what was the name of his musical horror that he directed that screened at FrightFest a couple of years later? Question number 2. Wolf Creek closed the festival in 2005, but what is the name of John Jarrett's character, the psychopath with a smile? Question 3. Paul McAvoy asked, John Landis was the guest of honour at FrightFest 2009. In what 1992 Stephen King adaptation did he cameo as a lab technician? Which 1992 Stephen King adaptation did John Landis cameo as a lab technician? Question number 4. Who played Van Helsing in Dario Argento's 2012 version of Dracula? Dracula 3D. Who played Van Helsing in Dario Argento's Dracula 3D? Question number 5 was the handjob question. Basically, what film were people committing sex acts during in 2013? It's a 2013 film starring Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Bacon, among other A-list actors. Question number 6. The Green Inferno, Eli Roth's The Green Inferno, is a kind of spiritual sequel / remake / homage to which classic, which grindhouse exploitation classic? Question number 7. Which awful director directed an awful film which currently has a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes, 2 out of 10 on IMDb in 2003? So I just need the name of the director that screened his terrible film in 2003. And that film was a video game adaptation. A shit one. Not that that narrows it down. Question number 8. In 2016, Train to Busan closed the festival. But what's the name of this year's Train to Busan sequel? What's the name of this year's Train to Busan sequel? Question number 9. Paul McAvoy asked, how many Chucky films in total has Don Mancini directed? How many Chucky films in total has Don Mancini directed? He already revealed one, Cult of Chucky, but how many in total? And question number 10 was, the Ready or Not directors are set to direct a new upcoming horror sequel. Name it. So let's have a look. How did everyone think they did there? James Rodriguez said he reckons he's got 9 out of 10. Very good. Hayden Watkins, 8 out of 10. Paul Wart, possibly 8. Tina Kirkham Ingram says 6 answers, but only sure of 1. Yeah, I mean, fair. They're pretty tricky, these ones. Emma Stevenson says she's shooting for 7 out of 10, but very optimistic. Marios says 3 or 4 out of 10. Dean Gray says 8. Niels Harpoth says 2 out of 10 blows raspberry. Sorry about that one. That's one that's clearly divided people there. So let's go through the answers. Get ready. 1 point per answer. Here we go. So the Takashi Miike film, the horror musical, was of course The Happiness of the Katakuris. The Happiness of the Katakuris. I think I pronounced that right? Question number 2. Wolf Creek's mean, horrible killer man was Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor. Question number 3. John Landis made a cameo in 1992's Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers. Question number 4. Who played Van Helsing in Dario's Dracula 3D? It was Rutger Hauer. Amazing. I've not seen that film. Is it worth a watch? Rutger Hauer played Van Helsing. Question number 5. Which film was there some handjob action going on during? In 2013, it was R.I.P.D. The sexiest film of all time. R.I.P.D. Question number 6. Eli Roth's Green Inferno is, of course, a kind of spiritual sequel / remake / homage to Cannibal Holocaust. It is basically Cannibal Holocaust, isn't it? Question number 7. So this director, the film that premiered was House of the Dead, and the director, for 1 point, is, of course, Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll. Got into a wrestling match with a critic once, didn't he? I think. Terrible. Question number 8. The Train to Busan sequel is Peninsula. Peninsula. Question number 9. How many Chucky films has Don Mancini directed? Out of 7 possible Chucky films, only 3. He's directed Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. So the answer for that one was 3. And last but not least, the Ready or Not directors, question number 10. The Ready or Not directors are on board to direct Scream 5. Scream 5. So they've got Wes Craven-size shoes to fill. How do we feel about that? Scream 5 without Wes Craven. Who knows? So, how did everyone do in that one? Did anyone manage 10 out of 10 for that? Paul Beaton said he got 2 out of 10. Sorry, Paul. Steve got 4 out of 10. Maria Humphrey, 0 out of 10. David Price got 9 out of 10. Amazing work, David Price. Jenny McCarthy, 8 out of 10. Shockaholic, 5 out of 10. Not bad. Matthew Cook, 10. 10 out of 10. Incredible. Now they're whizzing by too fast for me to see. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Not bad. Not bad. A lot of you did better than I think I would have done in that round. So, congrats. And thank you once again to Paul McAvoy for contributing there. And also a big thank you to the amazing Brad Hanson for helping me with those questions. Okay, we are officially halfway through the quiz. We've done 3 rounds and we've got 3 more rounds to go. But we're going to have a little 5-minute toilet break. Go and refresh, grab another beer. And then come back and we'll continue the quiz in 5 minutes. Hello, everybody. We're back. I'll give it a little minute just to make sure that everyone's back and seated and ready to go for the next round. What's everyone most excited for at FrightFest this year? There's some good stuff on this lineup, and I've seen a couple. What can I recommend? I can recommend a film called Blinders. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to, but I can recommend it. That's good. The Columnist is also really fun, worth a watch. There's No Such Thing as Vampires is also quite fun. There's some good stuff. But also, actually, separate from films, make sure you get yourself to go and watch Rosie Fletcher's Den of Geek event. It's a panel about horror in lockdown with Rob Savage and Anna Bogutskaya and Rose Glass and a load of really, really interesting people. That's going to be amazing. And of course, the Arrow video podcast live with Sam and Dan. You cannot miss that as well. So don't forget there's other cool events going on throughout the weekend as well as just films. So yeah, I'm intrigued to hear what people's thoughts are throughout the weekend. And of course, just another quick plug, because, you know, me and Louise Blaine are going to be covering all of the films at the festival right here on YouTube over the weekend. So if you subscribe to us, keep an eye, because we will be sort of discussing our thoughts on some of the best and worse films that we see. And if there's anyone out there who's doing the quiz that has never listened to the podcast, I run a podcast called The Evolution of Horror. It's 3 years old today. You can find us on all of the normal places where you get your podcasts. We discuss different classic horrors every week. There's lots of interesting guests. And we're also on YouTube and Patreon and a whole bunch of other places these days as well. But please do check it out if you're a horror fan and if you're a podcast fan. Okay, we're halfway through the quiz. Let's move on to round 4. And round 4 is a favourite of mine. This is something that we've done throughout all of these virtual quizzes across lockdown. This is the lockdown remakes. Okay, so basically what we do for this one is that I have sort of roped in a bunch of people, listeners of the podcast and friends of the podcast, to send in a recreation of a classic moment from horror. Okay, so they've recreated a classic moment from horror just in their house with what they've got lying about. So you need to figure out what it is they're remaking. Okay, you need to just name the films, and it's 1 point for each. So here we go. Here comes Lockdown remake number 1. Incredible. And here comes Lockdown remake number 2. These are so good. People make amazing efforts. Here comes number 3. This one genuinely scares me a bit. And here comes number 4. Name that film. And here comes number 5. Oh, so good. So good. And here comes number 6. There's me and Rihanna having a little go at one there. Name that film. And here comes number 7. That's a tricky one. That is FrightFest's very own Greg Day, and he's given us quite a challenging one there. Which movie is Greg reenacting right there? Now, actually, I should just pause at this point to say that I did send an email to Greg, Alan, Ian, and Paul and asked all of them to contribute to this, to send in their lockdown recreations. And Greg is the only one that sent his in. So thank you, Greg. But also, I didn't want to not include those other 3. So I kind of took the liberty of creating my own lockdown creations with them. So here's number 8. Here's number 8. Name that film that Alan is reenacting in number 8. And number 9. Ian looks quite chuffed in that situation. Number 9. And last but not least, number 10. Pleased as punch there, Paul. So there we go. So that was your 10 lockdown remakes, courtesy of listeners of the podcast and friends of the podcast and, you know, the FrightFest guys. So I'll go through them. I'll whiz through them all one more time. Make sure you've got something written down for all of them. Number 1. And number 2. And number 3. And number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. And number 10. Beautiful. How did everyone think they did in that one? Did anyone think they nailed it? Does anyone think they got all 10 of those? Martin White says, I'm confident I gave 6 out of 10 correct in this round. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a good number to be confident on. Shockaholic says number 2 is just perfection. I mean, they're all absolute perfection, aren't they? All of them. Joseph Russ says, reckon 9. Stuart Sparks says he thinks he got 9 out of 10. Hayden Watkins, 7 out of 10. Interesting. Keith Bowman, 9 out of 10. Okay, well, let's do it. You get 1 point per answer, of course, as ever. Let's go through the answers. Here we go. Oh, I've given away all of them there. Right, here we go. Question number 1 was, of course, Pan's Labyrinth. That was, of course, Pan's Labyrinth. Question number 2, this brilliant one here, was Suspiria. And actually, I have actually written down the names of the people that sent these in, so I should thank them. So where have I got it? Here we go. So number 1 there was sent in by James Ferris from Australia. What an incredible job. Thank you, James. Question number 2, Suspiria, was sent in by Helen Hind, or Helen Hind, possibly. Thank you, Helen. Question number 3, also sent in by James Ferris. That was Halloween. Look at that. Question number 4, this incredible one by Annika Cullen, was Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Look at that. Incredible. Number 5, this one by the brilliant Tom Lyons, was Mandy. What a likeness. Mandy. Look at that. Number 6, this one by me and Rihanna, was Misery. That was Misery.
Was it?
Yeah.
I forgot.
She didn't know what we were doing. I was like, just hold this hammer. Number 7, this tricky one from Greg, was The Silence of the Lambs. Look at that. It's actually quite uncanny when you look at them next to each other. The Silence of the Lambs. Number 8. Number 8 was Phantasm. That was, of course, Phantasm. Number 9. The wonderful Ian there, starring in Saw. And last but not least, number 10. Paul looking so happy there to be starring in Slumber Party Massacre. That is Slumber Party Massacre. A great film. So there we go. How did everybody do? Did anybody smash that with 10 out of 10? Let's have a look. Paul Watt's got 9 out of 10. Very good going. Neil's got 5. Gary Crew's got 9 out of 10. Scream Queen's got 4. Better luck next time, Scream Queens. Jenny McCarthy, 9 out of 10. Smashed it. Jax Bronte got 3 out of 10. I mean, I can't. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame me for these ones because, I'm at the mercy of what people decide to send me and recreate. So there you go. But well done, and a huge thank you again to everyone that sent me in a picture there. Loved it. Loved that round. Let's move on to round 5 then, which is horror haikus. Horror haikus. I thought I'd do a little bit of creative writing for this round. So basically, I am going to read you a series of horror haikus, and you need to just tell me what film I'm talking about, what film that particular little haiku, that poem that's sort of 7 syllables, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, or whatever it is, 575 maybe, whatever the haiku is talking about, okay? So you just need to name the 10 films that these haikus are about. So here we go. Here comes haiku number 1. Scorching deep south heat. Perfect for a barbecue. Fetch my sledgehammer. Scorching deep south heat. Perfect for a barbecue. Fetch my sledgehammer. Just name the film. Question number 2. Family holiday. Some uncanny visitors. As above, so below. Family holiday. Some uncanny visitors. As above, so below. Yeah, that one was written by Rihanna. Number 3. Meet Henry Jarrod. Come visit his museum. Then stay forever. Meet Henry Jarrod. Come visit his museum. Then stay forever. Here comes haiku number 4. It's a nice easy one. Fuzzy images are followed by a phone call. 1 week to survive. Fuzzy images are followed by a phone call. 1 week to survive. Oh, here we go. I've already got people flagging that some of these strictly aren't haikus. I may have gone over the syllable count occasionally, alright? Number 5. Princess locked upstairs. See, hear, and speak no evil. Fool to the rescue. Princess locked upstairs. See, hear, and speak no evil. Fool to the rescue. Here comes haiku number 6. Teen horror upstairs, but puppeteers downstairs. Release the Buckners. Teen horror upstairs, but puppeteers downstairs. Release the Buckners. Number 7. Haiku number 7. Brothers on the run need wooden stakes and crosses for this sleazy bar. Becky Dark says, I don't know number 6. You definitely do. Brothers on the run need wooden stakes and crosses for this sleazy bar. Question number 8. Haiku number 8. Cute little children, but they're wise beyond their years. Beware Peter Quint. Cute little children, but they're wise beyond their years. Beware Peter Quint. It's one of my faves. And haiku number 9. Comic book stories. Beaches, plants, and birthday cakes. Lots of cockroaches. Whizbone says, could we have these in iambic pentameter, please? God, some people are never satisfied. That'll be the next quiz. Comic book stories, beaches, plants, and birthday cakes. Lots of cockroaches. Number 10. Asbestos cleaners. Something else is in there. Hello, Gordon. Asbestos cleaners. Something else is in there. Hello, Gordon. And there you go, there's my 10 haikus. I'll whiz through them all one more time just to check you've got something written down for all of them. Number 1, scorching deep south heat. Perfect for a barbecue. Fetch my sledgehammer. Number 2, family holiday. Some uncanny visitors. As above, so below. Number 3, meet Henry Jarrod. Come visit his museum. Then stay forever. Number 4, fuzzy images are followed by a phone call. 1 week to survive. Number 5, princess locked upstairs. See, hear and speak no evil. Fool to the rescue. Number 6, teen horror upstairs. Puppeteers downstairs. Release the Buckners. Number 7, brothers on the run need wooden stakes and crosses for this sleazy bar. Number 8, cute little children, but they're wise beyond their years. Beware Peter Quint. Number 9, comic book stories, beach plants and birthday cakes. Lots of cockroaches. And number 10, asbestos cleaners. Something else is in there. Hello, Gordon. And there we go. That's your 10 haikus. How did everyone find that round? Did anyone think they got 10 out of 10 for that one? Does anyone want to compliment me for my haiku skills? No one. Okay. We'll go through the answers. So let's go through these answers one by one. So here comes the answers for round 5. So this one, of course, scorching deep south heat, perfect for a barbecue, fetch my sledgehammer, is of course the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 2, this one was Us. Jordan Peele's Us. Number 3 was House of Wax. House of Wax. Number 4 was, of course, Ring. You can have Ring, The Ring, Ringu. Any of those is fine. Number 5. Bit of a trickier one if you don't know it. This is The People Under the Stairs. Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. Number 6. This is my favourite. The Cabin in the Woods. That is The Cabin in the Woods. And here comes number 7. That was, of course, From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn. Number 8. That was The Innocents. The Innocents. Number 9 was Creep Show. Creep Show. And last but not least, number 10, one of my absolute favourites, terrifying film, Session 9. Session 9. So there we go. How did everybody do in that round? Let's have a look. Gary Cruz got 7 out of 10. Pretty good. Pretty good. P. Harrison, Children of the Corn Snacks. Excellent name. Got 8 out of 10. Curtis Threadgold got 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Here, another 7 out of 10. Neil Brown got 9. Good work. We've got lots of scores coming through now. 10 out of 10 for Twin Geeks. Well done, Twin Geeks. Amazing. And also great team name. All right. We're nearly done. The quiz is nearly over. We've got one more round, and it is, of course, the music round. Okay, so round number 6 is the music round. So what's going to happen here, hopefully, if the tech works okay, is that you're going to hear 10 little snippets from classic horror movie scores. Okay, you just have to name the 10 films. Okay, so you're going to hear little snippets from 10 classic scores. You just need to name the 10 films. I'll play all of them through from 1 to 10, and then I'll play all of them through again from 1 to 10. Okay, so get ready. Here we go. There you go then. Tricky. I can see from all your comments that you guys found this one tricky. I mean, it's the last round of the quiz, so it's designed to be a little bit challenging. I'll play them all through again, okay, one more time. Unfortunately, it's one continuous video, so I can't pick out specific ones to play again, but I will just play all 10 through one more time for you guys, okay? So get ready. Here they come. There we go. I love that. Somebody Phoenix I'm just going to put John Carpenter as the answer for every single one. I think that's fair. There are a couple there that sound very John Carpenter-y, aren't they? So, I mean, does anyone think they got 10 out of 10 for that? Does anyone even think they got more than 5 out of 10 for that round? Because I know I made that super difficult. We'll go through the answers in just a second. Just jot something down for all of them, even if you have no idea what it is. Most of the ones I've put there are quite well-known horror films. They're not super deep-cut, obscure films. So just have a guess, maybe. Let's have a look. Chris Foster thinks he got 9 out of 10. That's not bad. Andrew Duffy, I'm aiming for 0 out of 10. Fair enough. Louise Blaine, hi Louise, 6 or 7 here. No, that's pretty good, Louise. Good going. Paul Warts, possible 7 out of 10. Okay, let's go through the answers then. Number one was quite mean because it sounds quite a lot like Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, but it's not Psycho. Question number 1 was Reanimator. Question number 2, that kind of strings, was The Witch. The Witch. Question number 3 was Scream. 3 was Wes Craven's Scream. Number 4 was Dracula. That was the Hammer horror version of Dracula. Tobakov said I put The Lighthouse for number 2 instead of The Witch. That's unfortunate. Number 5, that was a classic giallo from the 70s. That was Deep Red. Profondo Rosso. Deep Red. Number 6 was Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. That was your John Carpenter one right there. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Martin White says I put Bram Stoker's Dracula. Do I get a point? Yeah. I'd say if you put Dracula, you can have the point. Number 7 was the Tom York version. It was the Tom York score of the 2018 version of Suspiria. Okay, so number 7 was Suspiria by Tom York, that kind of sad, melancholic piano music. Number 8 was Day of the Dead, that kind of equally kind of 80s synthy sounding one that sort of went dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. That was Day of the Dead. Number 9, that really sweet kind of da 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 da, that was Poltergeist. Poltergeist. Toby Hooper and Steven Spielberg's classic Poltergeist. And finally, last but not least, number 10, those strings, that bum 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 bum, that was Carrie. And that is the music that plays right in the build up to the bucket of blood. That was Brian De Palma's Carrie. So there you go. I'll run through those answers one more time. Number 1, Reanimator. 2, The Witch. 3, Scream. 4, Dracula. 5, Deep Red. 6, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. 7, Suspiria. 8, Day of the Dead. 9, Poltergeist. And 10, Carrie. And that's it. That's the end of that round, and that's the end of the quiz. Send me your scores. Did anybody get 10 out of 10 for that? We've got a few quite good scores there. James Pemberton got 7. Gary Cruz got 9. So in total, you should have a score out of 60. Let's hear your scores out of 60. I wonder who won that game. I think anything above 30 out of 60 is pretty good going, I would say. Is pretty amazing going. Emma Stevenson got 44 out of 60. That's an incredible score. Neil Brown, 50 out of 60. Amazing. Annika Cullen, 23 out of 60. She says, I blame Brad. Yeah. Eddie Maddock got 38 out of 60. Amazing scores. 42 for James Moran. Good work, James. Stranger Things got 34 out of 60. Sorry?
The Peter Bart Trio got 50. They've been doing very well on the way
Peter Bartrio got 50. Amazing. Neil Oliver got 50. It's Only a Movie got 52. That might be the score to beat. It's Only a Movie got 52 out of 60. Amazing work. Well done, everyone. So thank you so much to everyone for watching and joining in and interacting and playing along. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of FrightFest as well. And also a big thank you to Rihanna Dillon.
I haven't really done anything tonight, but
She
also
has.
I just want to say happy birthday to Evolution of Horror podcast.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Evolution of Horror podcast is 3 today, so
Got
you
a
know.
little present.
Oh, amazing! I got a
Dip your
present.
hand in.
Oh,
What's in there?
I don't know. It feels. Oh my god! This is amazing.
I couldn't not really, could I?
Best present ever. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh,
Thank you so much. Yeah, a huge thank you to Rihanna, who's been doing all of the behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, please keep in touch across the weekend. Like, let me know what your thoughts are about all of the films at FrightFest. We'll be on Twitter, we'll be on Facebook. Me and Louise Blaine will be doing videos on YouTube across the whole weekend. So please keep watching and interacting with us if you can. Thank you so much again, and join us again hopefully soon for another Evolution of Horror quiz. Night night.